So welcome to this session on global knowledge and technology exchange through living labs. I would like to give you examples and case studies of energy living labs in Europe. So my name is Joëlle Mastelic. I'm the president of the Energy Living Lab Association, and I'm also working as a professor in the University of Applied Science, Western Switzerland. So I am collaborating in the European Network of Living Labs in the working group Energy and Environment. So what is a living lab? So there are different levels of analysis of a living lab. There is the macro level where we analyze the governance and the ecosystem of actors. And the mezzo level is about the projects in a living lab mode, where a portfolio of different projects exchange and build knowledge. And then there is the micro level where we develop tools for citizen participation and co-design. So what is a living lab? I have developed a definition in my thesis, and I would like to separate into different examples to explain what is the meaning and the understanding of the living labs in the energy field. So, a living lab is an innovation intermediary. What does it mean? It orchestrates an ecosystem of actors, meaning that it's an intermediate to help to innovate. I would like to give you some definitions. There are different levels of innovation intermediaries, and living labs are innovation mediators. Why? Because they provide infrastructure and external ideas. So in terms of knowledge, they are an entrance point to do open innovation as innovation mediators. So this ecosystem of actors is really important, and illustrate it as well with another example, which is Energy Polis. So Energy Polis is a campus dedicated to energy, and there are different types of actors in this campus. There is the EPFL, which is developing fundamental and applied research. And then when you go in the chain of the development from research to the market, there is the University of Applied Science, Western Switzerland. When we have finished with a research project, we are working with the development agency, CIMARC, in order to push the learnings to the market and being able to transfer this knowledge to local SMEs. And the canton, so the region, is also integrated in this ecosystem. So it illustrates perfectly how the different types of actors can collaborate in an ecosystem, and the living lab can support the exchange between the different actors. So it orchestrates this ecosystem in a specific region. In Switzerland, we have the Sweet Lantern program, which is a research program over 7 years. And this Sweet Lantern integrates different ecosystem, regional ecosystem. There is this Energy Polis campus with the Energy Living Lab and the Mobility Lab, but also in Lugano, the Lugano Living Lab, in Lucerne, the Lucerne Labs, in Geneva, the Geneva Living Labs, and in Winterthur, the Wind Lab. So these are ecosystems that act regionally as catalysts to support local networks for the transition. So the objective of a living lab is to co-design product, services, plans. What does it mean? I give you also examples. We have developed a platform for public-private procurement that is called GroupIt. GroupIt is a platform where the owner in a specific region can ask for an offer of solar panels. And the region is supporting this platform to group the different buyers on this platform, and then there is a public offer that is asked to the suppliers regionally, and algorithms are helping to choose from the different offers the technology that we are looking for. So this platform has been co-designed in a living lab, in the Energy Living Lab, and is supporting the dissemination of solar panels in the French part of Switzerland. So I can give you another example. It is about climate plans. So climate plans can be developed together with the local actors. In the 2ICCAP project, what we are doing in different regions in Europe is to integrate the different actors to co-design the climate and energy plans. And we have seen that in integrating the different actors into the development of the plan, there is a higher engagement level from the stakeholders that can provide insights into the plan so that it's better accepted and it has a more important impact afterward when the plan is put into practice. So we are using an iterative process in Living Lab, and it's always the same process that we have standardized. So it is inspired by the design thinking methods, where we need to have a solution which is feasible, so technically feasible. It integrates technical artifacts, but it has also to be viable, meaning there is a business model behind it, and desirable, so the society desires the solution that is developed. So all the different products and services and plans that we develop follow this standard process to co-design value. We are using a standardized process called the Living Lab integrative process. This is inspired by social marketing and by socio-technical theories in order to understand the practice and the determinant of this practice, integrate the different stakeholders into the process, understand the barriers. Why are we not progressing with the split that we would need for this transition? And then we ideate with the different stakeholders. So again, they can give an insight. So we are talking about knowledge development in the process. Then we test this idea in real life, not in a lab, but in a real life environment. And we prototype and test. And when we see that there are great results, then we disseminate it and we implement and we disseminate it. So all our different projects go through this standardized process, and it helps a lot to vulgarize and to transfer the learnings from one project to the other. So the Living Lab integrates the key actors. This is a transdisciplinary ecosystem, meaning that the goal of the Living Lab is co-defined together with the society. It's not that the researchers are asking research questions disconnected from the reality, but these research questions can also come from the society, from the local actors, from the stakeholders. That's why we are calling this environment transdisciplinary. And in order to know which stakeholder we would like to integrate into the different projects, we are using the matrix, the power interest matrix. And what does it mean? It means that we analyze who has the power to change the situation that we are analyzing and who has an interest to do so. If there is no power and no interest, the effort that we will have to put to convince will be really higher. If there is already power but no interest, we will find actors that will provide barriers for the transformation. So we have to engage them in the process. And if there is a strong interest but no power, what we would like to do with these actors is to empower them to act in our living labs so that all the different stakeholders that are key for the transformation become players. So in a public-private people partnership, living labs work with the quadruple helix, meaning that we are integrating the public authorities, such as the regions, such as the municipalities, the universities. We integrate as well the private sector, the company, the startups, the people, so the citizen, the customer of the different companies, and the researchers, the universities. So with the example of the Energy Living Lab, we showcase the network of actors that are supported by the quadruple helix. It helps to see the reality with the eyes of different actors, meaning different perspectives on the same challenge, to be able to create debates to better understand where are the barriers and to exchange and to co-design together the solution. So in a real life setting, this is really important to work real life. I can give you the example of the JRC, where the policy are informed by real-life experiments in ISPRA to test living lab methods and to develop different mobility solutions and energy-related solutions. So the policies are informed by real-life experiments. So one of the outcomes of this process is the creation of social value. So why do we do all this? Is to create value for the society. And that links also to the SDGs, to be able to give something to the society. It's not research per se, but to provide value for society. So again, an example to be more concrete, the Unlimited Cities software. This is a software in Creative Commons that have been developed by a partner in Geneva. And this software helps the citizen to co-design their neighborhood. So based on a map, they are able to provide insights for the planning process of the city, to know which services are missing and what type of activities that we can add for the neighborhoods. And we are testing at the moment this software and enhancing it with blended learning and with a marketplace in order to help the co-design of the 15-minute city, to reduce the mobility that is needed by providing services that are closer to the citizen and understanding which type of services are missing at the moment. So this is creating social value for the citizen. So to reach this objective, we need participative tools. Some tools exist already for a long time, but we develop also new tools, such as the co-creation toolbox that have been developed in the Open Lab projects, where for each stage of the Living Lab integrative process, we propose tools, and again, in a Creative Commons mode, to disseminate as much as possible the tools and the learnings for other regions to adopt it. And the goal is to, as well, to develop new tools, so such as the E4Citizen game, where this game can be used without having knowledge of the energy field to co-design scenarios of the future and to be able to reflect together, and having this game as an intermediate object to help us to reflect on the future scenarios without being an expert. So again, this is used in knowledge building because we can understand better what are the needs of the different actors and transform them through a game in future scenarios. So, in a nutshell, a living lab has an active engagement of the stakeholder. We use co-design and co-creation methods in a public and private partnership. We use multi-method approaches in a transdisciplinary manner to orchestrate an ecosystem of actors in a real-life setting. So I would be glad to answer your question by email. Don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.